So, could you tell me a little bit about this recent Supreme Court decision?
Well,
California Supreme Court decision.
It is, very exciting. It's been a long time in the making for California. California sort of led the way on pro-gay legislation for a lot of years, including the domestic partnership bill, second-parent adoption, and the legislature passed marriage equality twice, but the governor vetoed it. So really the decision is a result of a lot of different work that has been done in the legislature and in the courts.
Wow, so you actually went down on Thursday morning to pick up a decision, didn't you?
I did.
How was that?
I felt like I was here, I needed to do it, and so I just filed in. I figured that there would be a bunch of people, but it was really easy to go in and grab an actual copy of the decision and then go back and study for my finals. But it was really rewarding, and then to be there with the lawyers who argued the case and all of the families who were plaintiffs was really interesting.
Did you get a chance to speak to any of the lawyers who argued the case or hear from them speaking?
Yeah, I actually had done a clerkship for the National Center for Lesbian Rights, which were the lead sort of litigators on the case, and so I was very happy for them and very impressed by all of the work that they've done for 4 years to end up here.
Wow, so what do you think are you gonna get involved in some of this after you're 2L, right?
Yes.
So after graduation, are you thinking of getting involved the way that those attorneys were with impact litigation and?
Yeah, I have a passion for LGBT civil rights and have for a lot of years, and worked in Nebraska and D.C. and here. I don't know. I'm a third-year law student without a plan, but I will stay involved no matter where I'm sort of going. But here in California, at least, it feels really nice because a lot of work again has already been done. Except we all have to work on the constitutional amendment that's maybe on the ballot in November.
Oh, wow. So could you tell me a little bit about the constitutional amendment?
Yes, so the opposition to same-sex marriage actually, it looks like they've qualified for the ballot, and the constitutional amendment would, I guess, technically reverse the Supreme Court decision, and 26 states have passed similar constitutional amendments in the United States, so I saw one commentator sort of say that California sort of exemplifies the epic battle of LGBT civil rights this year, and I definitely think that's the case. Both sides will have to raise a lot of money and get out votes, but I'm pretty confident that things have changed in 8 years since the voters went to the polls on this, and also the other side had a really hard time qualifying for the ballot. They had to use paid signature gatherers and bring them in from out of state. So we think that as long as people, talk to their friends and family about what an amendment would do and why marriage is important, then we'll be okay.
So could you play devil's advocate for just a moment and tell me a little bit about the opposition? I actually heard them on NPR, so I kind of have an idea, but could you tell me a little bit about what their possible argument could be, and then also talk about the equal protection argument that the other attorneys made? Sure.
I think that there's two main arguments that the opposition makes. One is that marriage is traditionally between a man and a woman, and that judges, legislatures and not judges should sort of change that tradition, and then they have a lot of other sort of arguments around children and that kind of thing that, in my opinion, are empirically accurate. But I think that the other concern is that, again, judges are deciding this and not necessarily the voters, although in California it's kind of an imperfect argument because a lot of progress has been made through the legislature, and Governor Schwarzenegger vetoed the marriage legislation because he said he wanted to wait for the court. So it's a little different here in California. And forgot the rest of your...
Oh, well, tell me a little bit about the equal protection argument.
Sure. I think the argument on the other side is, and one of the things that the California Supreme Court did, which no other court in the United States, I don't think, has done yet, is apply strict scrutiny to sexual orientation. So in California, at least, race, gender, sexual orientation, religion and maybe age all get strict scrutiny under the California Constitution, which is very different from the decision in Massachusetts, which just applied rational basis, and the Lawrence versus Texas decision and Romer v. Evans also were technically rational basis cases. So, the argument, really is that separate is not equal. I mean, it's a very simple argument here in California, and one that has practical effects in same-sex families' lives. And trying to explain to the average person that you're domestic partnered instead of married is confusing in a lot of situations, like hospital situations, enrolling your children in school, and just things that people take for granted. Just using the language that marriage provides to couples, and not to mention obviously, like, there's hundreds of state level rights and responsibilities that come with marriage. So, basically it's just, an institution that, couples need those protections for themselves.